A leader is best when people barely know they exist. When their work is done, their aim fulfilled, the people will say, we did it ourselves.
Okay, but can we get some recognition for leading the pack? I looked back and that piece we wrote on racism was a step towards a couple awards and getting praise from strangers on the street.
Wait, that isn't why we wrote that piece. It was a step, a beat, a rhythm for our community to come together as one united we stand.
I know, hand in hand, but we'd be lying if we said we don't enjoy the praise, the shares, likes, accolades, and validation on our Facebook page. If we said we led with the purest intentions, then I'd mention
we all tell ourselves white lies when we lead. When I was 16, I went on a trip. I stacked bricks, painted walls, got calluses, building halls. Helping others was something I was always taught to do, and I knew that I gained
over 100 likes on a Facebook profile pic. Let's be honest, we gained a trip. A ticket to self-affirmation, a guaranteed realization that we are good.
I mean, sure, there are perks to doing good deeds, but it isn't my ego that I'm trying to feed. Hey, I could have spent my break on a beach.
All right, let's not reach. Like that time I was the leading scorer on our basketball team. You can't tell me that was for anyone but me, the crowd cheering our name, those 15 minutes of
fame for the team so we could stack up those wins. It wasn't an end to a crowd that stood on pedestals, who had hearts around their names in bathroom stalls.
Yeah, but that came naturally, a perk of playing the game. It's all the same. It just meant the hoops were set low for me. I didn't need to jump through them for opportunity.
For leaders, opportunities knock. They're not something we seize. When we put on for our school and even the province, fought those uneducated fools at a national conference, fought against privilege and fought for safe spaces. Despite the looks on their faces, we said unpopular things. Fought not for me, but those quiet ones present. Turned their voices from background noises into one, represented. I know for a fact
that conference was stacked with award-winning leadership hacks. So unlike the pack that pretended to have read their books, we went against the grain just to get a second look. In a room full of A-type, extroverted, Myers-Briggs, ENFLs, we lied to ourselves and tried to tell how much deeper our wealth of knowledge and practices, all to impress that cute activist, please.
We all tell ourselves white lies when we lead.
And how about our superiority complex when we decided to feed the homeless? Quietly covering our hands in Purell, trying to cleanse ourselves of their living hell, feed them on Sunday, get praise on Monday, but then on Monday deciding to cross the street when you have no change for their pain but have time to serve eats.
When did you forget that table was set so people could be themselves? Instead of asking for a reference, our preference was to sit with our less fortunate friends, not superficially or to pretend, but because we yearn for their stories, not some resume glory. So don't you dare try and rob me of my friend, Peggy Sue. And by the way, that Purell, it isn't for you. It's to protect those that we feed. We all tell ourselves white lies when we lead. And about that time that I got elected, it was expected. I had done all of the activities, joined 7 different societies, my ego dragged through punditry. I mean, it was a prerequisite for my sleep schedule to run on deficit. And that's not even the half of it.
Okay, but the whole of it is that job came with certain privileges. Pete's providing treats, coffee, and lunch paid for by students, all whom too prudent to ask us for a meal. So while they starve, we carve out a bigger network on a full stomach because between backstage beers, we need to plan what's next in our career.
Even on stage we're telling lies at Dali. What compelled you to be here? Is it something you need? Maybe our intentions aren't worth a mention. We don't raise questions, raise hands, raise voices. We let society applaud our choices. So do me a favor and check your moral compass. Is it navigating towards a social norm that sits on the precipice of shit that somebody else put in this pristine white frame and that made you feel warm? So you tucked it deep in your brain in a place where it didn't fit adequately? Don't push things aside for someone else's masterpiece. Not everyone who makes art needs to bleed. I'm tired of telling white lies when I lead.
It's not white, harmless, or lighthearted. Despite where we go, it matters how we start. It's not about building skills or whose elevator pitch is the sharpest.
It's about realizing that taking the stairs is the hardest. That each step you take will make you work on that pitch. It's about realizing that situationally, there isn't a top step, there's no degree. So when your foot gets heavy and falls, remember the tiles, the look on the walls. Remember, it's not about us, them, or getting ahead. It's about your decision to lead with your head.
So despite your privileges, smarts, and qualifications, true maturation is when you come clean. You can ignore, but I implore you to recognize the truth. When leading a group, the one that needs to be led most is you. Not being led to be the best you can be, but to think, act, live, and breathe genuinely.
Try developing people who can tackle the bumpy road.
It's about breaking the shackles that conventions impose.
Enabling others to go where they go.
Allowing people to put status, ego, and glory back on the shelf.
And when they do, they'll say they did it themselves.